really, really hard with the pencil, you get a wax blossom. The color gets darker, and you see a thick layer of wax. That's the binder and the color, right? That's what makes it attached to the paper. And what you can do if this happens is, one, don't press hard, okay? Two, you can take a piece of soft cloth, like a cotton t-shirt, maybe you have a scrap t-shirt. You can use that to buff out the wax, or you can use a piece of like paper towel to wipe the wax off, okay? But that is not good technique. You do not want to press hard unless you're doing glazing. Also a bad thing about this is that if I press too hard, it doesn't erase very well. It stains the paper, which I don't think you guys can see. Try to erase yours that you press too heavy. Okay? However, if I press lightly with light and medium pressure, and I use my eraser, it goes away completely. So isn't this a great material for your final exam? If you make a mistake, should you fix it? Yes, right? So there's no excuse not to do your best. If we did this on white paper, it would stain the paper and you would be unhappy because it would look horrible. But we're using the miracle of black paper, which lets us erase it completely away. Okay? So, next column, we're going to do intensity. What's intensity? What's intensity? Tony? It's about color. Yeah. The brightness of the color. So there's ways to control the brightness of the color. Okay? The first one is add gray. Okay? So when you walked in, you should have picked up a gray pencil. Okay? What I'm going to do is get out an orange pencil. I'm going to do a strip of orange. Okay? So we're going to make an orange strip. Notice you can see some of the paper still showing. Don't get in the habit of pressing super, super hard. If you press too hard, the colors are going to be streaky. Okay? So we're going to add gray to it. Now the point of this is not that it goes from gray to orange. The point of this is I want it to go from a bright orange to a dull orange. Okay? So what I'm going to do is use plain orange, gradually use a little bit of the gray. And as I go across, I'm going to add more and more gray. And if it looks too gray at the end, just layer the orange on top again. Okay? So why would we want to dull down the color of something? Any ideas? It's too bright. If you want your focal point to stand out, the easiest way is to make it bright and make things that are not as important duller. Another reason you might want to dull down the color is maybe the color that's in your pencil set is too bright to realistically represent your object, right? If the red is not super bright, you're going to have to mix something into it to dull it down. Okay? So this is an easy way to alter the intensity. So when I'm doing this, what I basically want to think about is I want this orange to become kind of like a pumpkin orange. Right? It's a duller version of an orange. Okay? Does anyone know another way to alter the intensity of a color? What else can I add? Black will work too. And black in this case will dull and darken. Okay? What else can you add to it? Nope. The opposite on the color wheel, which is called what? Complement. Okay? So the complement. What's the complement of orange? Blue. So go ahead and do a strip of orange. And then grab the blue out of your set. Now, how many blues do you guys have? Two. So which blue should you use? In your projects, so in your artworks, the blue will kind of be determined. If it has to be dull and dark, use the dark blue. If it has to be dull but not darker, use the normal blue, right? You might even have to dull and lighten. So you might have to mix orange and blue and white, right? You have to mix these colors to get what you want, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the blue very, very lightly. If I press too heavy, you're going to see blue. So I'm going to gradually add more blue to it to dull down the color. I'm using the lighter one. Like I said, it doesn't matter. If you use the dark one, it's going to darken the color too. So as long as it looks duller, that's all I care about. And I'm going to layer some more of the orange onto it so that it looks a little less blue. It will be kind of hazy. Okay? Okay, so you can do this by adding gray, adding black. And these are both to dull. Okay, we don't want the colors so bright, right? We don't want the colors so bright. We're going to dull them down to bring attention to what's important. Okay, but there's a way to make a color brighter, and that's the last one that we're going to do. Okay, so the last thing that we can do to brighten is we're going to use a base or an undercolor. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is make a square. It's going to be about 1 inch by 1 inch. We're going to divide it into 4 quadrants. Okay, so on one half of it, we're going to put a thin layer of white. Okay. Okay. So on one half, we're going to do a thin layer of white. Now what I want to do is I want to take a warm and a cool color. I'm going to pick a color that's kind of light. So I'm going to do my yellow. And I'm going to pick a color that's kind of dark. I'm going to pick my dark blue. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the yellow on the top row. And then I'm going to use the blue on the bottom row. Which side is brighter? The one with the white underneath of it, right? Now, this is the thing that people do the least, but this is the thing that's going to make your project the best it possibly can be. Okay? So I'm going to show you an example. So let's say in my project, I am using a red, and it's the most important thing. If I use red, the paper sucks the brightness out of the color. It's dark, it's black, it sucks it out. Okay? So I want to make the red stand out more. On my project, so my cookie cutter up there, I shaded it first in white. So I went in there and I shaded it in white, right? And so I have these different values as I go across, okay? Then I took the red, and instead of having to go light and dark with the red, I just went over the white. And so I'm just putting a layer of the red on top of the white. All the work was done with the white. All the value changes. I just put the red on top of it. And that is going to bring out the red and make it more obvious than if I were just going to use the red by itself. Can you guys see how dull this is in comparison? So if you want your attention to come to your focal point, use a base. Okay? Those are your color pencil techniques. Do we press hard? No. When can we press hard? To make things shiny, to glaze. Can you erase? Yes. Are these pencils yours? Yes. So you paid with them for your fee, so you get to keep them and take them with you when you're done. Okay? So whenever you are done drawing out your project, you are able to start adding the color pencil to them. Okay? I'll come around and check on your techniques.